Upon my face, 'cause there's excitement in the chase, this I know. Yeah, I'm going for the ride and find myself, I am alive, and I soar. Still I run towards the wind and let the challenge draw me in, 'cause I want more. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. We are all looking for adventure. We are all looking for adventure. We are all looking for adventure.
So how's things going, man?
It's going a lot better. Um, things are really well. I mean, I've improved in many areas, which I never thought possible. Um, I mean, one of the things is, I mean, I'm more active in doing things. I can actually think on my feet and also do things like my memory's improved, auditory processing memory, and also my phonological awareness. Um, my reading skills have improved and writing skills have improved as well.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Let,
this,
let
yeah,
me
go
let me
on.
ask you this, Jonathan. We when we get into remediation, a lot of times, we start saying things like phonological awareness and comprehension and these type of things. What does going through remediation mean for you for your day-to-day life?
Uh,
How has that affected your day-to-day life now as an adult?
um, massively, massively. I mean, I can now do things I never could do before. So
Like what?
let me give you an example. I can have a conversation with people and I can remember names. I can remember, um, yeah, so I can remember names. I can actually read and remember certain articles which I couldn't remember before. Obviously, there's still improvement in that area, but there is a lot of things I can now do I couldn't do before. So, I mean, one of them is communication is definitely one of the big things that I can do now. And I can actually analyze situations better. Um, so I always used to think like people, when you look at somebody and they start talking and they're talking and talking and talking, you look at them and you think, gosh, that guy's smart, you know. Um, but now I can actually analyze and think for myself, well, is that guy actually as smart as I really thought he was? Because I pick up on things I never picked up before. Um, and as well, my thinking skills in terms of speed has improved. So I do things a lot faster instead of, I can. I'm just. I'll give you a good example. I had a problem with my mobile phone the other day, so I called up the mobile phone provider, and I was talking to the customer services guy, and he was. When I was actually talking to him, I could actually keep up, listen, and understand what he was saying better than previous before. Also, he was actually struggling to keep up with me in a way because before I mean, it was like, I don't know. I just think it's the way you do things quicker. Your brain responds quicker. It's more active. It doesn't stop. Yeah, it's just more active. My reading speed has improved as well. Um, so I can read something faster. And obviously, there's still work in those areas because I'm not completely done with this program, but that is definitely improving a lot. So,
So, Jonathan, you say that you can read faster. I mean, uh, there's going to be some people that go, okay, well, whether you read fast or slow, it's kind of so what. So, what does that mean for you to be able to? And I'm asking this question now because I went through the same thing, right?
mm,
I understand what it means to read faster. I just want you, in your own words, to be able to explain to others as an adult, when we did our first video, think about where you were at then and what you thought of your abilities to make it through day by day or make it through life with the skills that you had, and really thinking that, hey, this is as good as it's going to get. I just have to get on with it, right? I have to move forward. And now somebody comes to me with this program that says that they can do all of these great things. And what does it mean for Jonathan to be able to read faster? How does that help you in life?
well, let me first start off by saying I don't know how I ever coped going through life before. You know, I just didn't realize um, when I would read, I would sort of like, now that I think about it, reading now, reading back then is, I would sort of like get lost in a story and it wouldn't be very clear to me. And I'm reading very slow as well. It's a real struggle. But now it's almost as if it's the page is clear. It's more clearer to you. Um, it's kind of like,
And let me jump in there real quick. When you say clear, you're not talking about vision clear. You're talking about content, that you're understanding the content easier.
the content is easier, but I can also see the page more clearer. You know, it's almost like yeah, the content is easier. You understand more of what you're reading, but also because you're doing it at a good speed, it seems it's a strange one to explain because it's. I
Can
mean,
I,
I used to be.
can I take a stab at it real quick? Let me see if this is what you're meaning.
Yeah,
Because you're reading with more fluency, meaning you're able to read without having to stop and try to figure out what the word is. That breaks up the reading, the entire sentence, and a lot of times that ends up causing you not to understand what the sentence was about. So the comprehension piece is affected there because of the speed of the reading,
yeah,
right? So as you're going along with fluency and your fluency is getting stronger and stronger or faster and faster, the your brain is not having to process or spend a lot of time or energy processing
e-
those
exactly,
words.
exactly,
So it
yeah,
makes
just
it
like that.
easier for you to read a passage. Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly. Yeah, you're spending less energy, and it just becomes easier. That's another thing. I, I mean, like today, I'll give you a good example today. Um, it's not reading though, but it's like I want to do things. I want to be more productive. Uh, Today, I just spent the whole morning uh, cleaning my room with bacterial wipes and all sorts of things because my brain is telling me now, um, gosh, don't sit on the couch and slouch or on your bed and do things. Now it's like, get out there because your brain is more active. You want to do more things. You just it, it just naturally comes to you, and you like. And I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Normally, I don't enjoy tasks like that. So I took the bacterial wipes, cleaned every item, what have you, vacuum my room, did all those things. And usually I would delay, and that's it. Now with the reading, it's smoother. It's just more fluently,
Right.
you know, because you know the words as well, because you learn a lot about sounding out words and sounding out the correct words. Your brain eventually um, makes connections to those, and that's what makes it easier.
So let me ask you this, Jonathan. Uh, when you started the Now program,
Yeah,
how soon into, or how long did it take you to realize that this is going to help you?
yeah. I think it was probably 8 weeks in when small connections started happening. It wasn't as strong as now, but roughly I'd say about 2 months in, I started realizing, I started remembering things better. My reading was still improving, obviously, you know. Um, and then by the 4 months barrier, it's you get this. It's almost like a burst of energy that you get, and things become more clearer to you. Um, as well, I mean, we got something called segmenting. When I first started doing the segmenting, I was really slow, and the stuff was all over each other. And yeah, I was struggling hard to make the connections. Now I'm so fast that that's another thing. Your brain is sending signals to your hands as well, and I'm so fast. I'm just like it's almost like a computer on a heartbeat. You're moving those fingers like that because you start doing things so more efficiently and fastly that it's unbelievable. It's stuff I would be like, now I can go on the computer and do that because my brain's speeding up as well.
When did you realize? Because I know for me, it was pretty evident for
Mm.
me. But when did you realize how, while you're going, I mean, because you're still in the program, you're still going through this.
I'm still going through it.
You're
Yeah,
you're probably, I
just
don't know,
over the four
way
months.
three-fourths the way through it, a little ways. But when did you have that aha moment about how impaired you really were? Because I know for me, um, we've lived with it all of our lives, right? Well, I'm 40.
That's
At
correct.
the
Yeah,
time, I was 45 years old. So when you've lived with something for 45 years old, it kind of gets blurry about how impaired or how that impacted your life. Uh, so when did you really realize how impaired or impacted you were while you were going through? And the reason why I'm asking this question is about segmenting. It's specifically about segmenting, really. Um, when did you realize, man, I really, really needed this help, or this really impacted my life? I can see it now.
yeah. Yeah. I think um, the, that's a good question. I think probably 3 months in, when started realizing that my reading levels are going up, and that my, yeah, so probably, yeah, I'd say 3 months in the program is when I realized this is definitely going to work for me. um I mean, segmenting is just, it's a, it's a good job, but I mean, the other areas of the now programs all brings it together, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think the segmenting, when you start the segmenting piece of it, it really is, for me. So let me back up a little bit. For me, it really was just a couple. The first week, I understood
yeah,
why I was having so many reading problems and spelling problems.
I think I hear what you're saying. I think um, I could actually read,
Yeah.
but my reading speed was terribly slow. I could read, I could sound out the words, but very, very slowly. And I think that's why,
Well, let me ask you this:
for,
could you
for
could you read, or did you? Because for me, I read by memorization. I read by
I think that's what it is. It's more by memorization. You
right.
see the words and you recognize the words.
Yeah, you know that cat, CAT, spells cat. You know that it spells cat. You've seen it a million times.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you don't have
I
to sit there and think that says cat.
Yeah. I think I was blind reading, if that makes any sense. So when I say blind reading is you read, but you're not understanding what you're reading. That was one of the areas. That's probably more to do with comprehension. And then um,
Yeah,
my
these are all skills that are built on top of each other.
yeah,
And
exactly.
unfortunately for you and I, and for many people like us, that foundation was never built.
No,
So
it was never built.
so although I had a very high comprehension, I could understand what somebody was saying. I could understand really hard content if it was verbal or if it was a video. But reading it, because there was such a deficit in that phonological awareness and being able to sound out words, that piece of it, I talk about it as it being very painful. And it's almost a physical pain because when I got to a word that I didn't know, um, more, as I got older, I wouldn't even try to sound it out. I would just skip it, just go away from it completely, just move on, and try to figure out what the content was without that word. Well, that works sometimes, but a lot of times that bites you because that one word really makes the entire sentence.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
Um,
my experience. And then when I started understanding that if I would have been taught this way as a grade schooler, man, life would have, for me, I feel like life could have been completely different.
I agree 100% with you. I feel the same. Because I look back at my life and I think how my life was before, where I would go to school and I would just read to try and memorize what I'm basically reading, but I would find it really hard. So um, I would probably sit till the middle of the night trying to study to get the stuff in my head at school, and that would literally drain me out. And even after doing all that, I would I would struggle to get good grades. Because, I mean, it didn't just come like that to me. Like most of the kids in my school, it came like that to them, you know?
So that's a great point, Jonathan. I want to touch on that.
Yeah,
If it's too personal, please let me know, and we can move on. Um, so you brought up, your classmates and how they would pick it up like this, and they were able to make good grades, and yada yada yada. Well, there is a group of people that are like, look, we're adults now. We just need to move on. Yada yada yada. Right? Those are stuff in the past. But as an adult, looking back on that, how is that mental state of, I know that I can do the work, or I should be able to do the work like my friends, or my colleagues, or my
yeah.
other students, right? How has that followed you through life?
Um, I, I think very painfully, very, very painfully, because it's always been on my mind, as in, why can't I do these simple tasks, even as an adult? So it's always on your mind. And then as well, especially with the reading, I mean, if your company asks you to do a course on a specific topic, it's the same old pattern. You would have to sit there and try and memorize the stuff and study it. And the problem is, you can do that, but then you don't understand the materials. But somehow you got to memorize it. And once you've done your exam or course, that information is then gone because you didn't actually do it the right way. So I think through life, it's been very painful, and it made me angry that I never had the help in school that I could have had, um, if somebody had a program like the now programs. Because in school, they just shove you at the back and say, because I went to special ed myself. So I was put in special ed, and even in special ed, I used to struggle. Um, and it's just like, it feels like people don't care, you know. But if I had the help back then, my life could have been completely different. I could have probably had um, a good career. Um, I could have had a degree in something, or something. Because I look at my friends. My friends always tell me, even now today, you should uh, you should work hard. You should um, study. You should do things like that. But I know how hard it is, and I haven't told them I'm dyslexic, but I just go with the flow. So it's very painful to me. So I just tell my friend, like, for you, it's easy to study and say these things, but for me, my brain's a bit different. I
Hmm.
struggle to get information into my head, you know? And he doesn't understand that. He thinks everybody's on the same level as he is, you know? Um, it's very hard. It's very painful, I think.
So with that, that brings up another really good topic. So with that being said, it's really painful for you to look at, your friends and family members that are just like, hey, you should go back to college, you should go do this, or university, you should, pick another career and just change. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'll talk about from my perspective.
Yeah.
Um, Always having that thought in your mind, yeah, I could do that, but I'm not going to take that leap. I'm not going to take that first step because of the failure. And I know it's going to be very, very difficult, and it's going to be a lot harder. I'm not one to shy away from hard things, but it is it is that paralyzing fear of that disability showing up as an adult and putting me
mm,
back in the same place I was when I was in grade school or in school, in that traumatic environment of school. And as an adult, I have a choice, and I'm not going to do it. So what I'm hearing from you is, by you doing this now, by you making this investment in yourself now, um, it's if you would have had this as a child, or during school,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it would have opened up choices.
yeah, doors. It would have opened more doors for me. Yeah, exactly. Um,
So
and I'm single. I probably would have had a family, kids, a good career. Um, but yeah, that's just the path I think probably could have happened had there been programs like this in school to help not just me but others like me, um, to achieve better in life, be more happier, have a more positive mindset, because that's what I got now as well, is a more positive mindset, and I'm more confident. This the couple of months I've did with now programs has made me more confident than I've ever been. And I still got a couple of months left on the first section. Then I'm going to move on to the comprehension to make the other connections. So I think not just myself, but there are other people like me that this program definitely 100% would benefit. Um, yeah, that's basically the way I
man,
see it.
Jonathan, man, I'm so proud of you. You have no idea how proud I am of you. I mean, when we first talked, I could hear the pain in your voice. Um, I could hear the shame in your voice,
Yeah,
right? From being in a place that wasn't your fault for being in. However,
yeah.
we carried
It's
that burden with us our entire life.
it's kind of like you're sitting in a hole the rest of your life, um, and you sort of like clawing and clawing to try and get out because you're just stuck. Now
You're
it's
stuck in that
almost
rut.
you're stuck in that rut the rest of your life. You're just there. You're stuck in that hole and you can't get out. And
So I um I hear a completely different Jonathan right now.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Um,
I hear a Jonathan that uh I, you know I, again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I almost hear a Jonathan that's forgiven himself, because that's what I had to do. Also, I had to forgive myself for all the pain and heartache that I went through in school. And now that I see that I am as smart as I always thought I was,
yeah,
I can do whatever I want. And that's the great thing about you, Jonathan. You're a young man. You can go do anything that you had thought you wanted to do now.
exactly. And the other thing is, I question people I thought was smart before. I actually think, oh, this guy, he's not actually as smart as he thinks he is, because I'm picking up. I'm kind of up to his reading level, almost in a way. So I'm picking up things that I never picked up before, and I'm thinking he's just saying a load of things, because he doesn't really have other things to say. If that kind of makes sense to you.
Yeah,
Um,
they're repeating something that they've heard, and they
yeah,
don't have real
exactly.
depth of knowledge about whatever topic it is that they're talking about.
Yeah. Whereas before it would fly by, and then I'd forget about it, and it would just,
Well,
sometimes uh, my brain sort of reacts like I can put it in another way as well. My brain used to be a sleeping volcano, and now that sleeping volcano is finally waking up, and it's slowly starting to spew its ashes. So the connections in your brain is kind of like that sleeping volcano where it was asleep all its life. Now it's waking up and it's starting to make connections to get out of this volcanic hole in a way.
I describe it as somebody turned the lights on.
Yeah, that's another way, you
You
know.
know, it's our brain is a funny thing. It tries to keep us comfortable. It tries to keep us in this comfortable state where we're not in any pain because we're doing something that's too hard, and we're not in any pain because we're suffering because of, say, a disability, or whatever painful situations, relationships or whatever we're going through. And it tries to
Yeah,
keep us in this really safe, comfortable place, and it doesn't want us to go either way. However, being in this safe, comfortable place keeps us stuck in that rut,
yeah, it keeps
right?
us trapped.
It keeps
Yeah,
us trapped. However, while I know it was painful to make that decision to say, yes, I'm going to do the Now program.
yeah.
Yes, I'm going to face this. I call it facing the
Uh,
demon,
uh, Let me
because
just
as
say
a,
something.
yeah, go ahead.
When I never imagined, I knew, I mean, I read many reviews of people's stories and listened to some videos, but the Now program to me is more than I thought it was. It's 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 more because it's not just reading. It's a bit more than that. It's quick thinking. It's reading. It's writing. It's spelling. It's um, yeah. It's just all those new connections that come along at once. And yeah, that's it's amazing. It's more than I thought it was actually.
I love sitting here listening to the new Jonathan, the 2.0
2.0, that's
Jonathan,
it.
um, because now I know, every time I check in with you, you're going to be doing something more and more better with your life. When I say more and more better, you're going to keep growing. This
Yeah,
is one of those invisible force fields or shields around us that we have kept us mentally trapped. I talk about the here in America, well, all over, we talk about a pipeline to prison, a school to pipeline, a school pipeline to prison, and
hmm
that is because these kids don't get the
the
help
help
they
they
need in
need.
school. It puts them on a road to crime, drugs,
Yeah,
and I talk about the prison being two different places. So we have the physical prison,
okay.
but we also have a mental prison. So while we don't talk about the mental prison at all, we always talk about the physical prison. What you and I are
Yes,
done is we are
yes,
breaking out of that mental prison.
exactly. That's exactly what I thought you was gonna say. Okay.
So,
Exactly.
man, I'm super proud of you. I can't wait to hear check back in with you in a few months and see how things are going. Um, keep up the tremendous work. You know,
Thanks, Stephen. Yeah,
it's
it is amazing. It's, I mean, sometimes I talk to people and I can't stop talking, and I'm thinking, this can't be right. Is this really me? Am I really this talkative? Can I be this chatty? And then I think, well, where's this old Jonathan? It's almost like being reborn. It's like being reborn in a sense, because I never thought in a million years I could. I mean, my boss popped in the other day at work, and I had a full-on conversation for probably over an hour with my boss, and it's just, yeah, it's like you said, it's getting out of that mental prison. You don't have that mental block anymore.
so what now that you're getting this remediation, what is a goal that you're setting for yourself, or have you even got to that point yet? But what is a goal that you've set for yourself that you always wanted to do, but the stigma behind, not being able to read very well, not being able to spell well, that comprehend, that's held you back? Do you have a goal that you want to do, that now that you're being remediated, you're going to do?
Yeah, so I've always wanted to study further, and when I say study further, is I want to possibly study study business economics or something like that. Business management is the correct one. But I'm also looking at other options because that was the old Jonathan that wanted to study that. Now I'm seeing new things. Am I really going to enjoy business? Yes, probably not. Or yes, I probably am. So I'm looking at other areas as well. So business is one. The other one is probably agriculture. Maybe I want to study agriculture. Agriculture is also a thing that appeals to me. So I'm looking at these new goals of studying. And I think just in general, when I'm not studying, I think enjoying to read a book is one of the other things um, I definitely will do more often rather than put the telly on or the TV on and watch something. Because, I mean, I already read more on my phone as it is. So sometimes I can't put my phone down. So I need to find a way to actually break away from putting my phone down because I can't do that. I struggle sometimes because it's always there. It's a necessity that's always there. And then I read on my phone. Well, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Let me read that quickly. And just my reading speed, because I used to read a page and I used to be halfway tired through the page. Now I can read a page and then another one and then another one. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not tired anymore like I used to be. It's just really, it's amazing. So yeah, I think study is on the agenda, degree possibly, and see how that goes. And then after the degree, will I study further or will I go into my chosen field that I studied in? So yeah, that's on the cards for me.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm definitely going to check back in with you in a few months. I want to hear about a goal that you've set now, that in a few months you should be about finishing up the first part of the Now program. And I really want to hear about a goal that you have set for yourself, um, so you and I can hold each other accountable about moving forward with our goals.
Okay.
and keep that going, because part of it is, it's great to have an accountability partner, um, and keep moving
I
forward.
think I
And
think you
and I'm here
spot
for
on.
you, buddy.
Yeah, me as well though. I just wanted to say I enjoyed our chat today. Um, Way better than the first chat we had because obviously I didn't really say much, did I? I can't remember if I said much. I don't think so. I can remember I didn't say much. Yeah, so I enjoyed our chat, and I think, like you said, you're holding me accountable, so I'm going to hold you accountable as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
um, accountability is important, like you said. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, I
So
mean, here's the other side of this, Jonathan. You now see how quickly you're progressing through this program, and how quickly your skills are building, and
yeah,
now
exactly.
getting to see how smart Jonathan really is. So I'm not going to allow any outside forces to cause Jonathan to not take advantage of all of that brilliance that Jonathan has between his two ears.
Absolutely.
So you're doing a great job. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for coming on here and having a quick chat with me, and sharing your story. People don't realize how much telling their story helps other people, because Jonathan, there are so many people who were in the same place you were just a few months ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also important to be able to tell your story and get rid of all those dark forces that was in your mouth, in your mind, clouding your judgment or whatever you was doing. I think is very important because your stress levels just start easing away. Your confidence just becomes bigger and greater. Your auditory memory improves massively, and the way you do things just changes. So I think it's very important.
Well, the other reason why it's so important, Jonathan, is you're important. I'm important. We're all important. Our story is important, because you never know who is watching from the outside. You never know who may take and watch what you're doing, and that is the trigger that changes their life also. So we always have to be conscious of that piece of it too. I mean, I can't
Yes,
tell you how many people have called me and said, "Hey, I've decided to go get remediation because of hearing my story." And I want the same thing for you. You telling your story is going to do the exact same thing.
for other people. So me telling my story exactly. So, and that's what I want. I want other people to follow the same path that I'm following because, well, it's made my life better. I'm confident it will make their life better as well.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely. Well, Jonathan, thank you again for the time. Let's check in a few months. I can't wait to hear, the amazing progress that you've made. Keep up the great work, and we'll talk to you soon.
okay. Okay. Thank you, Stephen.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go. Got that smile upon my face, 'cause there's excitement in the chase, this I know. Yeah, I'm going for the ride and find myself, I am alive, and I soar. Still I run towards the wind and let the challenge draw me in, 'cause I want more.